Hello there, my beautiful collective signs. This is Rachel with Dark Knight Coaching. So today's video is a traditional Celtic crossbred where I tap into whoever's guided to watch this video's energy. So just remember, energy is fluid. So if something in this message doesn't sound like it's resonating, it just might be somebody in your energetic field. But I do feel like there is a lot about shifting mindsets and a lot about shifting expectations when it comes to love. So when I tap into your energy, I do so through music. Lost in Nostalgia by Xavier Omar was what I was meditating to. So this is a song that's all about like lost love, maybe waiting for someone to return. Some of you might be dealing with a twin flame situation, but just remember, twin flames don't gaslight or manipulate or deceive or those sorts of things. So if that's what's going on, it's probably a toxic relationship. So just be cognizant and aware of people's behavioral patterns and the games that they can potentially play. Now, there is a lot of shifting happening for you, collective, and there's a lot of change coming because you're doing introspective work, healing work. Something about a cat is very important because the cat card came out, and my cat's at the door right now, and he was not at the door like all morning while I'm doing videos. So somebody's cat might be a significant thing. Maybe you're fighting over a cat legally or something, going through a breakup. But let's dive right into tarot, and then I'm going to go into the oracle cards. So your current vibe is Queen of Pentacles. Maybe you're trying to save up to move out on your own, something like that. Maybe you're getting a new job or a new position at work. But the challenge here, whatever it's being crossed by, is the Hanged Man. This is all about perception or perspective. And it's like you're seeing things differently. Maybe financially you had put yourself in a compromised position. And I do feel like you're moving out of that mindset. So now you're really like understanding the importance of having your own financial stability and security as a woman. And again, remember, energy is fluid. So you can be a man watching that and it still can relate. Now, the basis of the situation here is Five of Cups. This is a card of regret and remorse. It's like maybe you're looking in the past and you're like, wow, I can't believe I went through that. I can't believe somebody would do that. I can't believe... it's basically like you have this fear of the past. Like, how did that even happen? Like you just can't really move past it quite yet. So you're in this like remorse mode because you're looking too closely at the past. And I think you're trying to be guided out of that mindset. But there was a choice you had to make. And I do feel like you made it. Like you had to choose whether to leave or to stay. And I do feel like for a lot of you chose to leave because you have this stick a fork in me, I'm done energy. Or you chose to stay and give it another try. And then like now you're at this breaking point where you're like, wow, like I wasted more time, expecting a different outcome, but the person was doing all the same things. And I feel like with this 10 of Swords, it's like you're really over it. You really see that you've done everything within your power, within your control to try to help someone grow. But the thing is like we can't make people change. We can't, we can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make them drink. And that's up to them. And sometimes people are at different stages in their life, and it's not a reflection of us. It's a reflection of how they feel about themselves. So typically with a relationship, even a friendship or whatever, like you will find that like people will grow together or they'll grow apart. So someone usually elevates or heals their psychological traumas, and then that's what causes a breakup to happen. Now, it doesn't mean that they don't always return, because sometimes, especially if you're naive or an empath or very unhealed, you'll go back. Even if you have a little bit of a heightened level, you might return and plummet back down because maybe you're gaslit, maybe you're manipulated, maybe you're naive enough to believe those sorts of lies again, and you'll find yourself in a cycle. But I do feel like whatever you've gone through, collective, is ending, because in the near future you have the Justice card. So if there's some sort of legal battle, whether it's over animals or children or whatever, a divorce process, I do feel like it will go in your favor, but you have money on the mind. So make sure your finances are all squared up and tied together, because in your subconscious psyche, you have the King of Pentacles. So maybe somebody was very controlling when it came to finance, And you have 10 of Pentacles and the 2 of Pentacles here as well, because I asked for clarifiers. So juggling finances is happening. Try to have as much of a trail as possible. Sometimes you might even have to hire a forensic accountant to figure out where the finances go, but I do feel like that is going to be relevant in your case. Now, what's in your control here, collective? You have the Knight of Wands and you have 4 of Swords. So to me, this says like there is some sort of steamy offer coming in when it comes to love, or a lusty offer, or somebody's trying to get you back, but it's clarified by the 4 of Swords. So this is like a test. It's a test of your will. It's a test of your commitment to yourself. Are you doing the healing and the retrospective work, the introspective work, and retrospect might be important here. But the 4 of Swords is all about kind of recuperating, resting, relaxing, contemplation. Now, how do people see you? I feel like they see you as a little bit withdrawn, holding back. 4 of Pentacles can be about like financial stability, but I do feel like your finances are at the forefront here for some reason. Now, in your hopes and fears, you have the World. To me, this is a card of closure. Maybe you're afraid of something ending, or you're hopeful that it's going to end, or sometimes we get in that vibe where it's like a little bit of both, like I can't wait for this to end, but then it's also like this is kind of the only life I know or remember. So it can be like a bittersweet feeling when we end a relationship that we've been in for a very long time. But just remember, just because you've been in a relationship for a long time does not mean it's a good one. And now your outcome. This is kind of a quick read, isn't it? Your outcome, potential outcome, future outcome is Page of Wands. I view this card as an opportunity for creativity. I did ask for clarifiers on this, and I have Temperance and the Queen of Cups. So to me, this is like something's going to light your fire, but it's because you're bringing balance and harmony into your 3D and your 5D world, which is the Temperance energy. And then it's also going to bring you a lot of joy and passion and happiness, because it's like something you're actually throwing yourself into, that you're really transmuting energy, and you're really alchemizing pain from the past and morphing it into something beautiful. And that could be art, that can be music, that can be trying a new hobby, or some sort of new venture. But there's definitely a lot of stuff about letting the past go and moving forward. Even if you're not clear exactly what direction it is you're heading, it's like it doesn't matter, because any direction is better than where you've been sitting for quite some time. All right, collective, I'm going to dive into the Oracle cards. I have some that I've already pulled, and then I have some that I will pull. So the first card I have is this one. It's like the black hole sun is what it looks like to me. It says, I am at peace with my past. And this is starting with an attitude of gratitude for your past, but it's also starting with an attitude of forgiveness. So the only way to understand yourself, or to truly forgive yourself, is through understanding. And you have to realize like why you were attracted to someone or a situation, and why you stayed. And sometimes that is hard to do, but that is kind of what's needed at this time, because that's that 4 of Swords energy. It's like having that ability to be introspective and retrospective is vital. It's going to shift you out of old mindsets that were toxic. Now you have the Bear card. I think of this card as like the Lion card also. I don't know if there's actually a Lion card in that deck. I haven't gone through them all, but it could be like lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, that might be significant or important. But the Bear card says be sensitive to where you are at and reflect on where you would most need healing. But I also think of this card as like you can be the lion and you can be the lamb. So you can be like the mother bear when you need to be, or you could be, playful and, more in your feminine energy than your masculine energy. But it's like you're able to balance both of those things. Now, the Oracle card I have for you is number 12, a change in the wind. So there definitely is shifts at play, and justice and balance and harmony. Again, Libra energy, which is all about balance and justice and karma coming out. But I do feel like right now you're just a little bit unsure, because you have number 4, not knowing. So it says, to be ignorant is a creative, harmonious way to engage with your world. Don't go running after answers as if it is embarrassing to not know. Hold steady to not knowing, and hence to learning. It will bring good results. So what don't you know if you only knew? What if you didn't need to know all the answers now, and how can you learn from the experience? You know, my pet peeve when I was growing up was like, my mom always used to say like, oh, if you don't know, I'm not telling you. And that's like such a toxic way to raise a child, because it's such a manipulative way to kind of deter children from asking for help. So, you know, I never really asked for help. And then whenever I did ask for help, I always thought it was burdensome and that I was taking up too much space or I was too much. And then when you get in that mindset of being too much for someone, it just means you're not with the right people. You're not around the right people. And, you know, as children, learning that from a young age, it can really stick with you. It can either make you very cold-hearted, hard-hearted, or it can make you very empathetic. Excuse me. And that's kind of where, you know, narcissism and empathy is born and bred. Because when you have toxic parents or people who are who have a lot of unhealed childhood wounds, which is what toxic parents are, they're still children trapped in adult bodies. They can perpetuate their pain. They can perpetuate the trauma that they have never healed or fixed themselves. And that's usually what happens when people choose a lifestyle based in narcissism, because they're being guided and pressured by themselves into choosing a life that is running away from their fear and their shame. So I do feel like you are trying to release that and you're letting go of old patterns and habits, because I think you're truly seeing things for what they are. And that's why the hanged man is challenging you. So you have release. This one says you have the ability to give over unwanted energies to the loving forces of the universe. Now, when I'm feeling like really down or you know, people are trying to throw negative stuff at me, I just ask that, you know, spirit, God, guides, whatever, I ask that they just return that to sender. Like, I just think of it as unwanted spiritual mail, and I just say, like, spirit, angels, guides, please just return all of this negative energy, anything that doesn't have, you know, pure intentions, just return that back to whoever that belongs to, because I don't really want any part of it. And sometimes just saying that just releases you of that negative energy that might surround you without you even really noticing it. And, you know, thoughts are things. Thoughts do affect us on a molecular level. This is scientific fact. If you want to look up the study by Dr. Emoto, he has a nice study about the crystalline structure of water, and we are mostly made of water. So it just shows how impactful thoughts are on water, and that is a majority of what we are, you know, what's housed in our bodies. So Sagittarius might be important again, because not only did you have the Temperance card, you have this moon card with Sagittarius. It says, look at the bigger picture. Full moon in Sagittarius. A lot of the time people get lost in the instant gratification. And I don't feel like you're one of those people because you're watching this video. Because this video is basically a self-help video using a form of divination. And that's what tarot is. Tarot is guidance and self-help and trying to understand the archetypes of tarot. And the archetypes are tied to, ironically, the Catholic religion. And that is kind of roles that we all play throughout life. And we shift in and out of these roles without even really realizing what we're doing. But it is cyclical. And it's very much so predictable. And once you really break it down on a scientific level. Now you have... let's do these two. These archetype cards are important, I think, because you have the comic and you have apocalypsis. I feel like whatever happened for you with this person, with this past, with this baggage, with this trauma and this drama and all these knives in your back collective, I feel like whatever happened was the catalyst for you. It was like, it's maybe sad or deceitful or vengeful or spiteful or whatever, but it was like exactly what needed to happen because it was the catalyst to make you leave or shift something. So it's like the straw that finally broke the camel's back. And, you know, the cat here I think spirit is trying to help you find the humor or in the situation, or like the ridiculousness of a person. So it's like, now that you're out of it, now that you're not in that cycle or that pattern, now that you're kind of getting like this closure, it's like you almost see how it's like comical people can be, especially people who are toxic and manipulative. Like, they're very predictable people once you get like down to it. It's a tactic that usually works for a while until somebody can see very clearly a person for who they are, and then they start to see the patterns. So I feel like you're starting to do a lot of pattern recognition because you're out of a thing. You know, it's hard to see something when it's like this close to your face, but then when you're out of it, you're like, oh wow, I see that spade for a spade. You know, when it was this close to my eyes, I just thought it was a black blurb, but now that it's backed up away, you had like this nearsighted or farsighted vision, however you want to view it, for a person. And now that you've gotten some distance or some time away, I feel like you've really seen them for who they are. Now, the next card I have is about your intuition. It says develop. What's your intuitive vocabulary telling you? Think of a positive image right now, and what is it you see and what words come to mind? Follow the path and see how you can make your intuitive thoughts a reality. Starting with an attitude of gratitude is very important. If you don't have a gratitude journal, I highly recommend getting one and just writing down a couple things that you're grateful for. This doesn't have to be like tangible things either. I mean, it could be like, I'm grateful for coffee. I'm grateful for, hot water. I'm grateful for clean water. I'm grateful for the air in my lungs, like those sorts of things. Because once we start having an attitude of gratitude for like the things that we kind of take for granted, it can shift your mindset and perspective, and it also raises your vibration, because then you're in a state of appreciation and fear and shame. Those things cannot live cohesively. So hate and love do not really like coexist. Like, they are both there, but they cannot exist together at the same time typically. And I'm sure somebody can argue with me about that, but I'm just saying, like, you can't really be fearful when you're in an attitude of gratitude, because you're grateful for what you're experiencing at the moment. Now you have this service card. This could be somebody in hospice, somebody in a nursing home that you're going to see or going to help take care of, or it could be like maybe you're thinking about volunteering your time to some sort of facility that might need assistance. This is tied to your sacral chakra, which is symbolized by the orange on the outside of this card, but orange might be a significant color for you at this time as well. But I do feel like throwing yourself into some sort of passion project, whatever this creative venture is, to help alchemize and transmute some pain and maybe even distract from some stuff for you is going to be vital, because I think it's going to shift you out of the lower vibe into a higher vibe, because helping people, giving back, those sorts of things can be very fulfilling and rewarding, because when we're giving in a positive way in the right direction to people who appreciate those things, it can just help us shift out of old lack mindsets. So it might give you some perspective, basically. All right there, collective, that's what I have for you. Hopefully this video helped. If it did, please smash that like button. It helps my channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. And if you're interested in a one-on-one coaching session, please feel free to reach out. You can book on my website. If you would like a tarot reading, you can book that on my website as well. But other than that, I will see you next time.